I just came in from outside taking care of the rose bushes. They needed a little TLC from their mommy. I said to myself, you know what, Floss? You do have work today and you do have a couple of errands you need to run, so you better be mindful of the time because one thing that you definitely want to do today is go inside and spend some time with your book friends. So here we are, back where we started from. In my last video, I mentioned I was going to be taking a trip in honor of Mother's Day. I was going to be visiting the oldest bookstore in America. It was established in 1745 by the Moravian Church, and the name of that bookstore is indeed the Moravian Bookshop. Well, I had no expectations. I didn't research or reference anything. I just went with the flow. So, along our travels, I actually had a good time. I'm not one for sitting in a car, just sitting there and traveling. That is not for me. But knowing where my destination or what my destination was going to be, I was perfectly fine with it. And it was a beautiful day, a little bit on the chilly side. I didn't dress appropriately. I wore a jacket, but I wore shorts, and I wish I would have wore jeans instead. But aside from that, everything about that day was just delicious. The streets are so cute and quaint, and I think there was only one fixture, one building that I saw that had some chip paint. Other than that, like, I would peek into these little shops and even the steps were freshly painted. It was just lovely. Very aesthetic, very vibey. We had buskers on the street. One was a violin player, one was a saxophone player, I believe, and I think there were two other ones. So it was lovely. They had cafe tables everywhere. Of course, the Fine Arts Fiesta was going on that day, which we had no idea. We got lucky. So, along with all these cute little shops that you can go in and out of, you got the added benefit of appreciating all the wonderful art that the vendors had brought with them for that day. So, we sat at a cafe table, we had salad, we had, oh my goodness, what was it? Limoncello with lavender in it. That was the first time I ever had one of those. I was most curious to see if I could taste that lavender, and there was a subtle hint of lavender, and it was refreshing. So I very much could see myself, like, if I lived in that town, the town of Bethlehem in Allentown, Pennsylvania, I could see myself getting up on a Saturday morning and going to the local coffee shop, getting a coffee and a goodie, then heading out to the bookstore, and then maybe spending an hour or so inside of there just perusing all of the lovely books and gifts that one can buy, then maybe stopping at a cafe or a restaurant. We ate at a French Spanish restaurant and we had salads. And you know what? They didn't look like very much, but the flavor of both of these salads was through the roof. Very, very impressed. Probably why I love salads so much, especially when they're done right. Um, After that, we went in and out of some gift shops, and then we trying to save the bookshop for last. But you know what? Let's get into the bookshop so we can get into the books, okay? Okay, so here is my bag of goodies. And let's just see what I got. I think it's best if I hold it on my lap. Or I don't know how many books I bought. The first book in the bag of goodies is The Witch's Way to Wealth, the Every Witch's Guide to Making More Money Faster and Easier Than Ever. Jesse DaSilva, and it's from the Millennial Money Witch, which I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about this, but I thought it would be something fun and different for me to explore. It will explore topics such as what money really is, how to manifest money, and all things in life, magical methods and spells to controlling and expanding your wallet, how to budget like a witch, that the first step to financial comfort is peace, and more. So, all right. From Jesse DaSilva, the intuitive mindset coach dubbed the Millennial Money Witch by Forbes, comes new witchy and intuitive practices to help manifest financial freedom. I'll let you know if it works. The second book that I picked strictly because of the cover. I'm in love with it, but you know what? After reading what the book is about, bonus, because I'm in for a treat with this one. My Summer Darlings by May Cobb. It looks like this. Did I even show you what that looked like? My apologies. I'm trying to keep this flowing and be mindful of your time because I know you have things to do as well. So, My Summer Darlings, May Cobb, and just briefly, Jen Hansen, Kitty Spears, and Cynthia Nichols have been friends since childhood. They are now approaching 40. Their lives have changed, but their insular East Texas town has not. They stay sane by drinking wine in the afternoon, dishing about other women in the neighborhood, and bonding over the heartache of their own encroaching middle age of raising ungrateful teens. Then Will Harding comes to town, moving into one of the grandest homes down the street. Mysterious and charming, he seems like the answer to each woman's prayers. As Will grows closer with each of the women, their fascination twists into obsession, threatening their friendships and their families. When he abruptly pulls away, each woman scrambles to discover the source of his affection, but what they'll uncover is far more sinister and deadly than any of them could ever have imagined. That's going to be my summer read. Then, since I am a child of the 70s, and this looked very interesting to me, it's by Dennis Lehane, Small Mercies. Okay. In the summer of 1974, a heat wave blankets Boston, and Mary Pat Fennessy is trying to stay one step ahead of the bill collectors. Mary Pat has lived her entire life in the house and projects of Southie, the Irish American enclave that stubbornly adheres to the old traditions and stands proudly apart. One night, Mary Pat's teenage daughter stays out late and doesn't come home. The same evening, a young black man is found dead under mysterious circumstances. The two events seem unconnected, but Mary Pat, propelled by a desperate search for her missing daughter, begins turning over stones best left untouched. All right, this one looks fun. The Accidental Medium, Who Needs the Living When the Dead Have So Many Secrets to Tell, Tracy Whitwell. Tans is a wine-loving, straight-talking, once successful TV actress from Gateshead whose career has shriveled like an antique walnut. She's still grieving for her friend Frank, who died in a car crash 3 years ago, and she has to find a normal job in London to fund her cocktail habit. When she starts to work in a new age shop, she suddenly discovers that the voices she's hearing in her head are not just her imagination working overtime, but are in fact messages from beyond the grave. Despite an exciting new avenue of life opening up to Tans, darkness isn't far away. All too soon, there's murder in the air. I'm participating in the Read Banned Books Challenge. I have to read 24 of them. And this is one of them that I have been wanting to read for the longest time, In the Dream House. It's a page turner of psychological suspense. Carmen Maria Machado. It looks like this. Carmen Maria Machado's prismatic revolutionary memoir is an electrifying account of a relationship gone bad and a bold dissection of the mechanisms and cultural representations of psychological abuse. Each chapter is driven by its own narrative trope: the haunted house, erotica, Bildungsroman, through which Machado holds her story up to the light while also casting a critical eye over legal proceedings, fairy tales, iconic works of film and fiction, and a broad swath of queer history. In the Dream House explodes our ideas about what a memoir can do and be. Okay. We have two more. two more. This other one is so fun, so fun. It's metallic, it's cyan, it's it's a thing. It is The Fun Home, a family tragicomic. It's by Alison Bechdel. I have never read anything by her, but I have seen this book at my local Barnes and Nobles forever. But I never brought it home, even though I wanted to. I just don't even know why I didn't. Maybe because the style of book is not for me, but I definitely like to do new things. I like to keep things fun and exciting. So I felt like, time and place for everything. This is the time for this book. So it's a splendid autobiography, refreshingly open and generous. In this groundbreaking best-selling graphic memoir, Alison Bechdel charts her fraught relationship with her late father. In her hands, personal history becomes a work of amazing subtlety and power, written with controlled force and enlivened with humor, rich literary allusion, and heartbreaking detail. It's a masterpiece about two people who live in the same home but different worlds and their mysterious debts to each other. And the last book that I chose, because sunshiny yellow, bright in my spirits, I think that I'm going to have a good time. The Wind in the Willows and Other Stories, and it is by Kenneth Grahame. Has anybody ever read The Wind in the Willows? I'm sure you out there have. I'm probably the only one that has, or one of the very few. Despite the small print, um, I think I'm going to have a good time with this book. Probably won't get to it until the winter. It feels like a kind of January read to me, when it's blistery cold outside and we're taking to the indoors with our hot toddies, hot chocolates, our, you know, teas and coffees and whatnot, and we're bundling up in blankets and sitting on cozy furniture and just letting the outside world be the outside world while we step into another world in the comforts of our own home. So that is my very fun Mother's Day trip to the bookstore, Moravian bookstore. And I can't wait to go back. I'm very much looking forward to future trips to that bookshop. Until we meet again, know that I love you so very much. Be well, be good, be reading, and may all your dreams